we're going to go to the overhead shot, and before I start opening, we're going to talk a little bit about the differences between collector boosters and, collector boosters, play boosters. So here's the Commander Deck starter kits. We may get to those. We'll see. So there are a ton of cool treatments in Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy. But the key differences between collector boosters and play boosters, well, one, collector boosters are just chock full of cool treatments, foils, all that sort of stuff. But there are a couple things that are exclusive to the collector boosters. One is the Through the Ages bonus sheet. Now, you can get Through the Ages in play boosters or collector boosters, but the foils are exclusive to the collector boosters. So let's take a look here. So here we see non-foil. You can get this in play boosters or collector boosters. Here we see foil. That's going to only be in collector boosters. And the foils, we have a few others here, just look fantastic. So the foil Through the Ages, those are the reprints that are not legal and standard. Those are going to be collector booster. Here, we'll do this. You can still get the non-foils in play boosters. Those are going to appear in about 1 in every 3 packs. Additionally, so surge foils, you can see, I mean, it's showing off pretty well though. So surge foiling is going to be exclusive to the collector booster. Now there's a couple slots that we'll talk through that you can get surge foils in. This one happens to be dual faced. So these surge foils, and then this is a normal foil of the legendary borderless treatment. So those are going to be available in play boosters. The surge foiling is going to be available in collector boosters. And then one other difference, so the Secret Rendezvous cards. So there are 4 different versions, if you aren't aware, of Secret Rendezvous, the famous date night. This one shows Yuffie, but there are 4 versions of this. The first one, featuring Tifa, is found in the Commander deck. The other 3 can be found in foil and non-foil in the collector booster. We'll talk about what those slots look like as well. But those are the main differences between the two. And we're going to start by opening collector boosters because collector boosters are awesome. And they show off all the fancy stuff. Let's move all this stuff over here. All right, I'm going to be watching chat. I'll try to answer questions as we go. So if you have questions, feel free to tag @Magic. That helps me just spot them a little bit easier. But we're just going to kind of chat and open packs as we go along. All right, collector boosters. Let's just put these over here. All right, so we're going to walk through. We're going to start off walking through the slots pretty slowly, just so that we get a sense of them, and then we'll move through faster as we go along. Now, all of this information, everything that I'm going to tell you about what's in the packs, can be found in the Collecting Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy article. So it's on dailymtg.com. I would just Google like Collecting MTG Final Fantasy, and it'll take you right to that article. But that's going to have all the details in the nitty gritty, and we'll sort of talk a step above that at a little bit of a higher level, and we'll go from there. All right, so a lot of the collector booster for Final Fantasy is very similar to collector boosters in the past. If you've opened previous collector boosters, a lot of this is going to feel familiar. There are some differences, including a slot that has 3 different cards in it, ton of options. That's going to feel a little bit different. Okay, but we're going to start off with 3 foil commons. All right. So these are going to be traditional foil commons. They're all going to be foil, no surge foils, nothing like that. That one's pretty straightforward. Then you're going to get 3 foil uncommons. Now there are just one sort of twist in this. You can get different versions of Sid in here. So there are 15 versions of Sid Timeless Artificer. And if you get one, hey, wow, that was impressive. So here's one of the versions of Sid. So those can come in that slot right there. There are 15 of these, lots of them to collect. This is the version from Final Fantasy 12. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. We're gonna, in case we open more SIDs. Yeah, we'll put that up there for now. We opened an entire test box and didn't get a SID before this, so really cool to get a SID. All right, next up, you're going to get a non-foil booster fun, common or uncommon. So it can be extended art legendary. It can be just sort of a main set. It can be one of the, now this is one of the secret rendezvous sets. So you can get we didn't, but obviously. You can get a non-foil version of Secret Rendezvous in this slot right here. Here we got X-Death, so uncommon, extended. All right, and then you're gonna get a foil, common or uncommon, in this slot. So here is the first slot where you can get a surge foil. It'll be either traditional foil or surge foil in this common or uncommon slot. This is also one of the areas where you can get secret rendezvous. Okay, but instead we got a surge foil. So we got a surge foil Zidane. Again, the surge foils, this type of foiling, is only found in collector boosters. So that goes right there. And they are, oh, what was the percentage? It's about 9% are surge foils in that slot. So that's really cool. All right, next up, we are going to get a basic land. It's going to be traditional foil. So here we got a forest. And then we're going to go into a traditional foil, rare or mythic rare from the main set. So that's pretty typical for these. This is going to be a normal frame, not booster fun in this slot. All right, now we're going to get into some even more cool stuff. So the next slot is the one that's unique that I sort of alluded to earlier. This is a slot that has 3 booster fun rare or mythic rares. It can be a wide variety of things. You can get foils and surge foils in this group of 3. However, you will only ever get 1 foil in this group of 3 at most. So it's going to be 3. All right. So no foils this time, but you see that we've got the extended Aerith Interceptor and Cecil Dark Knight. So that is 1 slot. You can see one of them's from the commander deck. There we go. And then after that, so this is where you're going to get your Through the Ages bonus sheet card. This can be foil or non-foil. About half the time it's going to be a traditional foil. Here we got a foil Brainstorm, Endwalker. And then the slot I always call the foil fancy slot. It's going to be a foil, traditional foil or surge foil, rare or mythic in one of the booster fun treatments. This is Arden the Usurper. And then you can see that this one is that surge foil. So again, the surge foils are, put that right there, exclusive to the collector booster decks. All right. Arden is such a sweet card. All right, let's keep going. All right, so again, 3 commons in foil. Town, we got a Monk's Fist, we got a Nation of Scholars, another town. Then we're going to hit that foil uncommon slot. Tonberry, Elixir. Elixir is one of my favorite cards in this set. And then we're going to get a non-foil uncommon in Booster Fun, Adelbert. And then we're going to get a foil common or uncommon in Booster Fun, Summon GF Fruit. Okay, then we're going to get our foil basic land. Got another forest, but from Final Fantasy IX this time. Then we're going to get our traditional frame rare or mythic in foil. Got a Noctis. And then we're going to hit our slot of 3. So here, okay, so here you can see some of the variety. We've got the Earth Crystal in that borderless treatment. Then we've got, so Terra is one of the face commanders. So here you'll see that you can get the non-foil face commander without the treatment. And then we've got a Lock Treasure Hunter with the extended frame. So you can see that that slot can have a variety of treatments in there. All right, and then we hit our Through the Ages. Okay, well, all right, good example. So you can get foil or non-foil in this slot, and the foils are going to be only found in the collector boosters. So only found in the collector boosters, can be found in the play boosters. Brainstorms all over the place. And then we finally get the foil, again, what I like to call foil fancy. We've got the Mass Immunity. All right. And you get a double-sided token with each one. Might as well throw them. You get hero token on this one, treasure on the back. All right, let's keep going. I didn't show off the food and a different hero. All right, let's keep going. All right, and yes, so those wondering where you find the Neon Ink Chocobos, these serialized Chocobos, those are found in that final slot. All right, let's go commons. We'll move through these a little bit faster. And then uncommons. Cactuar. So Diamond Weapon as the non-foil uncommon. Clash of the Eons as the Booster Fun foil uncommon. Then we get basic land. I'm going to get a Plains here. Final Fantasy 12. Then we're going to get Foil Rare Mythic. Zodiac Umbral God. Then we got a Sephiroth as one of the 3. So commander card. Zell. And Venat. So again, instead of 3, then we get Through the Ages. So again, that foil for Through the Ages, only found in collector boosters. And then foil fancy. All right, and we get a Surge foil here. Definitely wants to go right in my foil wizard stack. All right, and then we got a bird token. When you're playing sealed this weekend, you're probably going to see a lot of those and a lot of heroes. If I open a serializer Neon Ink on stream, can I have it? Probably not. You know, I kind of live in fear, a little bit in fear of opening something serialized on stream. We did once back with Ravnica Remastered. It was fine. But I would prefer those end up out in the world with you all. All right. So we got Blazing Bomb. This is maybe my favorite common in the set just because I keep wanting cheap elementals. I love elementals. All right, we got a Town. And we got a Summon Fat Chocobo. All right, we go uncommon, Dragon's Lance, Summon, Vanille. So this is 1/2 of the meld pair. So you can see the top of Ragnarok there. All right, then we go Prompto. Eden. There's no way I'm One of the all right. Ultima. Okay, this is in the slot of 3. Yuna's Whistle, summon, and summon. Okay, so here you can see one of the foils that can show up in that slot. This is not a search foil, it's a traditional foil. But as you can see, the foils show up occasionally in that slot. All right, and then we get the Through the Ages. So we get Furion Swordmaster, SRAM, non-foil, and then Geneva Ancient Calamity foil in that last slot. We got a copy token and another hero. Alright, let's go. Common for the world map. And then we got Valkyrie Aerial Unit, Lionheart, and Garland. Then we get Cat Archer, Summon Anima. Then a Mountain, Final Fantasy VI. Then our rare mythic is Esper Origins. Backside. And then we got Siegfried, another summon, and another foil. Again, you see the variety there that you get in that slot of 3. All right, and then Through the Ages. That is a foil. Again, those are exclusive to the collector boosters. And finally, Summon Leviathan for the foil fancy slot. All right, bird, hero. Let's keep going. All right, let's see. All right. Item Shopkeep, Town, and Cornered by Black Mages. We are going to do some play boosters. We might move to those pretty quickly, actually. So we can look at some of the limited archetypes as well. I love this island art. Gorgeous. And then foil rare. It's going to be a great one for equipment decks. Okay, then we get the 3. Summon Primal Odin, Summon another Geneva, and Ultimisia. Okay. And then we're going to go Through the Ages to Nature's Claim with that Final Fantasy I art. And finally, Foil Fancy, Tifa. This card looks potentially scary. What is my favorite card from the set? My favorite card from the set. It's probably, I think it's, I mean, I love Endwalker on the bonus sheet, but I think my favorite card in the set, because I am a filthy control player, is probably Ultima. That is probably my favorite card in the set. 100% that I'm going to use Teferi to cast that on someone else's turn. But, yeah. Other than that, I do actually really like Go-Go. I have an all foil Zombie Wizards deck. This slots perfectly into that. And there's also some assassins that I'm excited about putting into my various assassin decks. But my actual favorite card might be Elixir. Again, filthy control player, but I love this card and cards like it. Commons. All right. This one just makes me happy. Choco Comet. Stolen Uniform's really cool. All right. Ultros tickles me pink. I love that one. Dealing with allergies today, which is super fun. Brosia. Go-Go is definitely a unique card. Well, this set has just a lot of unique. Speaking of unique cards, there's a ton of unique stuff in this set. I like that Jumbo Cactuar. All right. One of the three. And yep, you can see again, commander cards can come into this. You can get the face cards in non-foil. You can get cards from the commander decks with the extended frame. Lots of cool options there. Through the Ages, Golbez Clad in Darkness, and foil fancy Mughals Valor. I really like this one too. I like Mughals Valor. All right, we got 5 collector boosters. Let's finish those off before we move on to the play boosters. All right, common. Weapons Vendor is also a favorite of mine. I do have a red-white equipment commander deck that got a ton of stuff from this set. So we are going to be getting a lot of upgrades for that. One side quest, Hunt the Mark. Then we get Titus, Blitzball Star. I have a soft spot for Omega as well. Another gorgeous island from Final Fantasy X. Then we get the Knot. Very cool card for Legendary Matters decks. Triple Triad. My equipment deck is, it's the two-part, it's the Kobold partner and the partner that snaps equipment onto, I forget their names, snaps equipment at the beginning of your combat. Okay, those are our rares. Through the Ages, we got Newfound Adventure / Farseek. And Foil Fancy, another Arden Usurper. Could I please have those cards sent to me? Not today. How am I sorting these cards from favorites to least favorites? So no, these are the different slots. If you missed the top of the show, these are the different slots that the collector booster has for the types of cards you can get. So I'll go through them one more time. The first 3 cards are going to be foil commons. That's there. Then you're going to get 3 foil uncommons. So that's this slot. Then you're going to get a booster fun non-foil common or uncommon. So this is top of the meld pair. Then a foil booster fun common or uncommon. Then you're going to get a foil basic land. Another forest here from Final Fantasy III. Then you're going to get a traditional frame rare or mythic in foil. Here we get the Wind Crystal. Then over here, there's a slot of 3. So it's 3 rares or mythics in Booster Fun. Up to one of them can be foil. Okay. And then this slot here is going to be either a foil or non-foil through the Aegis card. So we got Battle at the Big Bridge. This is a gorgeous Fatal Push. And then we got Foil Fancy. In this case, we've got Jill, Shiva's Dominant. This is, as you can see, in Surge Foil, which again can only be found in collector boosters. All right, let's go through these last 3 packs. That'll get us about halfway through the show, and then we'll move on to play boosters. We can look at the opening experience there, as well as talk about the draft archetypes a bit more. All right, green or common, uncommon, uncommon. All right, we got another Omega, Torgal, Fine Hound, and then foil basic land, and then foil rare or mythic in the traditional frame, and then 3 Booster Fun. Got Blue Mage's Cane, Golbez, and Lifestream's Blessings. Then we go through the Aegis to get Counterspell. That one is gorgeous as well. And then we get Clive, Final Fantasy 16, in that Surge foil on both sides. Those over there. All right, nearly done. And then we will move on to play boosters. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Snow Villagers. Crystal Fragments. Here's a good one. So these are not found as much as the others, but wastes. There are wastes in this set. So this waste is from Final Fantasy 16. And then Edgar, King of Figaro. And then we got 1, 2, 3. See that non-foil Terra. Then we go through the Ages. Non-foil Deadly Dispute. Again, amazing art. And finally, Foil Fancy with the Earth Crystal. All right, final collector booster. Goes up there. Again, apologize for the allergies. It's annoying. But spring has sprung. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then summon Fang. And this is you can see here the bottom half of the meld. Here, should we get the whole meld, I think. Did we get a foil? The other side? No, non-foil. Alright, and we can see full meld together. So these are going to have different art. One's foil and one's non-foil. So they do have, yeah, because this is the legendary full frame. This is the extended frame. So they're going to be a little bit different. I thought we might have had another one, but it's okay. Moving on to land. those. Coin of Fate, Aerith, and summon Ixion. Again, you can get a foil. At most, in that slot of 3, you're going to get 1 foil. And then we go through the ages. We got the foil, we got Nature's Claim. And then we hit foil fun. All right, let's move on to play boosters. We'll move these up here for now. All right, play boosters. So if you are participating in a pre-release this weekend, your pre-release pack will contain some of these. When you draft, same deal. So this is going to be very much focused on limited archetypes and what you can open up in these packs. Now, most of these special treatments can be opened in play boosters. Again, the exceptions are anything Surge Foil is going to be only in collector boosters, and then the foil through the ages cards will be found in collector boosters as well. Again, it comes with the insert that shows off what the limited archetypes are. All right. Let's start going through this as I continue to leak from my face. All right. So I'm going to lay out the pack, and then we're going to talk about pack 1, pick 1, what you would draft, some of the different archetypes, that sort of deal. All right. Fate of the Suncrist. All right. Commons. So you're going to get 6 to 7 commons. The 6 to 7 is going to be, depends on the wild card rarity, depends on a couple things. All right, so we did get a Through the Ages card in here. You're not going to get a Through the Ages card in every pack. You're going to get them in, I believe it's about 1 in every 3. So uncommons. And we got a rare. Oh, and in this one, so our foil happens to be a mythic rare. There's also a land slot and an art card. All right. So this is a pretty solid pack. We got a Through the Ages card. We got 2 rares or mythics. When you're looking at this, so a couple things. So Terra, obviously pretty powerful, but generally because of it's looking to get enchantments. When it flips, it's looking to copy enchantments. Terra's not gonna. Fantastic card. It's not gonna be a card. Yeah, there you go. Pack 1, pick 1. Terra, Force 5 color sagas. You can, because of summons, there are more enchantments in this set than there might normally be. So we've even got a red and a green summon in this pack. So you know what? If you open Terra and you want to do that, go for it. You know what? You might even get in it and find out that that's totally reasonable. And absolutely works. But let's look beyond that. So let's look at the rare as well. So this one cares about attacking and casting instants and sorceries. That synergizes pretty well with the red-blue archetype, which cares about casting instants and sorceries. So that's a pretty strong card. Clash of the Icons is sort of your typical green common fight spell, but it's also got some lore synergies. So you could take that. If you want to go equipment, so red-white very much cares about equipment. Then we've got Squall here, which is going to make your equipment cost less and be a really good card to equip. And then my favorite archetype is the black-red wizards archetype. Now, I wouldn't recommend taking this first over some of these other options, but Mysidian Elder is a kind of bread and butter common in that archetype. So, boy, yeah, I mean, I think I mean, I'm partial to the spells deck, so I do like this. I mean, so Safer has sort of it's not haste, but the attacking ability doesn't just matter for him. So if you attack with a creature that isn't him, it still gets double strike too. So could be that. I think you could go here. I think you could reasonably go here. I think if you wanted to go wild, go with Terra. You do you, and have some fun. All right, let's take a look at another pack. As I continue to leak from my face. All right. Play booster number 2. Try to throw these away instead of throwing them on the floor. All right. All right. Start with our commons. Got a couple of job select equipment right up front. Bird Citizen, if you want to go into towns. Ooh, that's a nice one. So that is a 3. We're 2 for 2 on Through the Ages here. And it just so happens to be a pretty strong one. Then we got Excalibur 2 and Snow. Yay. All right, we got token instead of an art card in this one. Yeah, it is Seasons the Allergies for sure. I would have a really hard time in this pack not taking Orphan. This card's really strong. Now, this isn't a set that's built to be 3 colors, but this is in green. You could be blue-green towns, for example, has a lot of fixing and likes to grab the dual land. So I could see taking Muldrotha and maybe sort of biasing towards blue-green towns. So like Wanderings here can help fix your mana, for example. I would not fault anyone otherwise for taking. I mean, I probably, if I was going in towns, I would probably want to go here. You could take Garland, who is pretty strong in the black-red. It's not, we talked about it last week a little bit. Garland's not, it's sort of a signpost uncommon, but it certainly works in the black-red deck where you care about casting spells, and then casting spells triggers a bunch of things, and Garland's pretty strong, turning into chaos. So I think the choice is Orphan, but I wouldn't fault anyone for taking Garland. I think if you wanted, these are both strong towns cards, but if you want to go into towns, I would start with Orphan. That's what I would do. Excalibur 2 is pretty strong, but there isn't really a gain life archetype in this format. So there are ways to gain life, obviously, but it's not going to be something you're able to do reliably. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, Surveil 1 on non-creatures all day here. It is kind of like a legendary Dragon's Rage Channeler. It's pretty similar. All right, Weapons Vendor. That's one of my favorite commons. So let's see if we can get better than that. Town Greeter. Ice Magic. It's fairly strong. Crossroads Village. Okay. Final Days. Clash. Minwu the White Mage. Well, speaking of ways to gain life. All right. So Minwu the White Mage is a good card. Again, there are other clerics in the set, but it's not like you're drafting a cleric archetype. It has lifelink itself, so it's got a built-in way to trigger that +1/+1 ability, but it has to deal damage. And then it grows every time it does. So certainly a strong pick if you wanted to go in towns. You've got Ignis here. Ignis is a strong towns card. Other than that, you can go into some birds. I think Weapons Vendor is possibly the strongest common in its archetype of the available ones. It has to be. It's really only good in that equipment archetype. I mean, you can play it in the it enters and it draws a card, so it's strong. Town Greeter is going to be generically strong in any deck, not just the Towns deck, but it obviously shines in the Towns deck. You're going to want to play Ice Magic in like your blue-red spells deck. There's some tapping synergy in blue-white. For me, I would probably take, I don't know, I'm really interested in the, I should also mention Sephiroth's Intervention is just a strong removal spell. So, Towns seem good. Maybe Minwu. Some of it's going to depend on how the archetypes play out, all that sort of jazz, but all good cards. This over here. Towns do seem fun to play with. I'm a big fan of those sort of, like, Gates was a favorite of mine. All right, Slash of Light, Elder, Reinforcements, Summon Fat Chocobo, Job Select Equipment, Adventures, Airship. It's kind of like a copter. All right, Judge, Magister, Gabrant. That card is probably even stronger than it looks. Song, Side Quest, Hunt the Mark. Ooh, Dioth. We got a Syncopate, and we got a Town. I think, and then we also got an art card. I think Dion is just kind of head and shoulders the best card in the pack. Interestingly enough, it would go really well in a deck with the Judge Magister. It would give, he's a knight, we get flying. But I think it's a pretty clear Dion here. And then after that, yeah, Judge Magister, Side Quest is a pretty strong card. If you get into a pack that you're not sure where you want to commit, Adventurer's Airship is a really good sort of non-committal pack. It's colorless. It's going to make a lot of decks. It's going to do some strong stuff. So I'm a big fan of 3 or 4 sets a year rather than 8 sets a year. This year is 6 sets. So we're right in the middle of that. All right, moving on. All right, we have about 15 minutes left. We're going to do this play booster. I'm interested in what chat would like to see. We do have more collector boosters. We can continue to do play boosters, talk about draft archetypes. I do have a collector commanders deck if somebody wants to see that. I also have the starter deck if anyone wants to see that as well. I'll let chat talk about that, and we'll get to that in a sec. Thunder Magic is going to be a premier common, so it's your shock variant of the set. But in this case, it works really well with the blue-red archetype and getting to scale up, and is going to make basically any red deck that you're going to play. Combat Tutorial, I want to point out, we've been getting better and better divinations every set. This is a pretty solid divination because it also can affect the board. Make one of your creatures bigger. Another Adventurer's Airship. Promise Fulfilled. Elixir. As much as I love this card, I don't think it's a limited card. Maybe I'm wrong. Random Encounter is wild, but probably not what you're going to be drafting. This vehicle, don't get me wrong. Someone's going to play this at pre-release and have a fantastic story about hitting something insane, and it'll be great. All right. So here, Edgar, so there are plenty of artifacts in this set. You've of course got all of the equipment. You've got some other artifacts like Elixir lying around. Like for example, if I took Edgar here and Elixir came back around, I might actually take Elixir in that space. Adventure's Airship is solid. I would probably... You're not going to be flipping coins in this set. So Edgar, if you're drafting this card, you're drafting it to draw a card for every artifact in play. And you're kind of committing yourselves to playing an artifact archetype, which is going to be your blue-white sort of deal. There are a bunch of artifacts in this pack. You probably can get back, you won't get back Thunder Magic. You might get back Elixir, you might get back Paladin's Arms, you might get back Combat Tutorial. You probably would get back Magitech Armor. So I might take a shot at Edgar here. If I didn't take Edgar, I would honestly probably take Thunder Magic. It's just a solid card all around. I don't think it means future flipping coin cards. I don't actually know. I think it fit the character really well. There are coin flip cards out there, but I mean there will be future coin flipping cards. Let's see. All right. Can we see the Collector Commander deck, please? All right. Yep. We'll do one more play booster, and then I'll do the Collector Commander deck. I don't have any pre-release kits. All right, You're Not Alone, Light of Judgment, Sephiroth's Intervention, the Antitoad, Rook Turret. So again, here's one of those artifact matters. All right, we've got Vayne, Death Touch Matters. Ooh, Chocobo Racetrack, that card's really strong. Got another blue mage. Artifact, Esper Origins, summon GF Ifrit, and a foil town. Here, I think I'm taking Chocobo Racetrack. I think that card is... I mean, you're going to probably want to be in the Towns deck, but that card is also just sort of generically strong. Now, the number of landfall hits you're going to have after you hit 5 mana is going to depend a lot on your deck. You're going to want to draft a lot of things that let you hit more lands. But I think that card is powerful enough and an engine that you'll probably just want to take it. Sephiroth's Intervention is the strongest removal spell in the deck, so there's certainly that. And then you could take Ash if you wanted to go the red-white equipment. Or, I mean, it's flexible, I should say. It can also be in the blue-white artifact archetype. All right. Yeah, Force of Negation, as Chet points out, is a rare Japanese box topper. Ancient Copper Dragon is, one of the special guests. All right. So, this is the collector's edition of the Commander deck. This is a special version of the Commander deck. So it also includes a collector booster sample pack. Let's bring that to... Let's open this in a way that is functional. Okay. So it comes with a box to store it. Pull this out. Okay. All right. So here's what it's going to look like on the back side. Here's the deck. You've got some punch outs to go along with this, and then inside this space here is where you're going to find the collector booster sample pack. So we'll start there. It's a little pack that has a sample of collector boosters, if you will. In that, it's got 2 cards. Here we've got a couple of extended art cards. Cool. All right, and then let's look at the deck itself. So there is a little deck descriptive insert there. Let's see. Let's pull this. You could pull the Ancient Copper Dragon in a draft in non-foil, not in foil. Okay. So it's going to come with some tokens. Tokens are going to be in foil. So we'll start here. There's one heavier token. I mean, they're all a little actually thicker cardstock for these. So you can see that even the tokens come in that surge foil. These are great tokens. And it'll be the tokens that help out the deck. So surge foil tokens, which is a really cool addition. And then you have the deck itself. So you'll get the commander. So these are going to be surge foils. So we saw a couple of these in the collector boosters. So yeah, here I mentioned there were some assassins in the deck, for example. Or in the set, I should say. All right, let's move this up so we can get more of this out here. All right, we got more space over here. All right, and then that continues on. So, and again, you know, it's cool to point out, even though we've been doing this for a while. So you've got the cards that are created new for this set. All of these as well. Okay, but then you've also got reprints of existing Magic cards, so Sun Titan, Tragic Arrogance, Archfiend of Depravity, all given art from Final Fantasy, Rise of the Dark Realms, Reanimate. So all of these in Surge Foil, Priest of the Fell Rites, a card originally from a Modern Horizons card, Ruinous Ultimatum, Key to the City, Solemn Simulacrum, like these are just, they're gorgeous. Yep, and you get more down into here. Palace Jailer, Knight's Whisper, yeah. So ton of cool stuff. All in Search Foil. There's the Soul Ring. Yeah, that Ruinous Ultimatum with Kefgar, it's great. A lot of cool stuff in here. Here, I'll even show off the basic lands. So that is a collector commander deck. They are beautiful. These decks in particular play really well, are pretty strong. So yeah, that's a collector commander deck. We'll put that in there. All right. We have about 4 minutes left, so I think that is a good place to stop. Reminder that pre-releases are happening this weekend at your local game store. Hopefully you've already signed up. this is going to be an all-timer and definitely one of the more popular sets, if not the most popular set we've ever released. So certainly, if you haven't signed up, check with your local game store. Maybe they have a few slots left. It's going to be a really good time. And then a week from this Friday, the full set releases globally. You'll be able to get it anywhere Magic products are sold. And yeah, that's it. Next week, we're going to be back for the digital release of Final Fantasy on Magic the Gathering Arena. And we're going to play some of that. And we'll do some of the limited archetypes. So this will be after your pre-release experience. We'll learn a little bit more about how the set plays in limited. And we'll talk about that next Tuesday. Until then, we'll see you next week.